Hey there, this is Chef Cathy from the Lake Clear Lodge, and I want to get you inspired to cook more of your own foods without using a lot of time. Trying to save some money these days is so important in food, and eating well is the most important thing. So today I'm doing our own English muffins. We've been working around the lodge. It's late mid-afternoon and we haven't even eaten yet. So I'm cooking up some of our own egg muffins and going to show you how I do it real simply. Now I've got some ground pork. We're going to do that first. We're going to do the muffins second, and then the eggs last, and we'll show you in pieces how we're going to do this real quick. Now I could just do pork. I'm kind of in a hurry, so I could do pork. I've got my own little spice mix here, and I have some scallion tops. And I also have a little bit of onion so we can season it. If I was in a real hurry, I would just do the pork. I would make the pork patties. I have a fair amount of pork here, so I'm going to do patties to also freeze as well for the four of us. I'm going to do four for us to eat, and I'm going to freeze the rest so that I can pull them out next time. But since I have a lot of pork, it's a good use to make your own sausage. We can use it for breakfast too, and then make for egg muffins if we want to. I'm going to shred in just a little bit of onion because I can. And I'm not going to get crazy about the amount. What I'm doing, like I said, we want a quick but easy and homemade egg muffin. And I'm just going to stir this up with my hands. I always best with hands. Use if you're tactile defensive, used to be an occupational therapist, go ahead and use a spoon. Oops. And just so it's mixed as well as you need. So it's a little bit seasoned. Now I have, yesterday we did a fresh tortilla. So, and I have a little bit of Marina here. Now I could put eggs in this as well to stretch it. I could put a lot of veggies in here to stretch it. I'm gonna have eggs on my muffin. I'm not gonna put eggs in the sausage today, but you could do that. But the one thing I do have is a root medley powder. So I'm gonna put a little bit of veggie powder in here because my family will never know except the one who's taping this. So I'm going to put a little bit of root medley powder in there and just mix that up. So I've got a little bit of veggie goodness in here, some onion for flavor, some spices like cumin and turmeric, salt, pepper, and we're going to head and just make some sausage patties. Simple as that. And I'll have some frozen, so again, I can have a sausage patty for breakfast, the fresh sausage. Now, depending on how much, it's always good to use maybe an ice cream scoop or a spoon so they get uniform if you're that crazy about it. I'm not. Again, don't worry about being so perfect in the kitchen if you're one of those. If you're making good food, put some good energy in it while you're doing it. Just make a patty. If it's not perfect, who cares? You're gonna eat it. I'm been cooking for a long, long time. Don't even want to tell you how long I've been a chef here, but I will anyway. 39 years. So I've, done my own thing, created my own things. We do old world cooking. My mom hated to cook, but her mom was a great cook, so I learned from her. I also learned from my husband's mom because they used to own the Lake Clear Lodge that we're here at, and I do cooking classes here too, and retreats. So I'm just going to pull about the same amount. If it's not perfect, I don't care. I just like fresh and quick, basically. I usually don't do anything too complicated. Even in our restaurant, we use fresh food, the old world traditions, and you can make them, like I said, any size you want. They're pretty thick, but we'll see how they come out in terms of how much there's a lot of fat in there, so we'll see how much they shrink. And now we'll go on to the homemade English muffins. So now we're going to go on to our English muffins. Now I have a sourdough challenge to get a real digestible English muffin. I do have a sourdough challenge that you can chime on to. You'll get an email for 7 days just showing you how to make your own sourdough starter, and then we end with English muffins. For right now, for our demo, I just have some good flour. I have a mix of rye and whole wheat and regular wheat in here to make our mix. I'm going to put in a couple of eggs, or at least one. And really, your English muffin mix is really like a thick pancake. So if you've made pancakes before, and you haven't made English muffins, you can make English muffins. It's just a pancake in a ring. So that's what we're gonna do. You could use milk. I've just got a little water here. Probably could use milk to make it richer. So I'm just stirring in the eggs a little bit. I'll stir in the water. You could use gluten-free flours. You can use all that kind of mix if you want. You can even put crazy things in your English muffins if you want to, like, you know, crushed veggies and, you know, bacon bits if you'd like. We just want it so it can pour into the rings just a little bit. I'm going to turn this on. Now, if you don't have the English muffin rings and you have ball jars and ball jar tops, you can use ball jar tops. They work. I've used those until I got these for Christmas one time. Now this, I just wanted to show you. This is a handy dandy little thing I think I got with a sourdough kit one time, but it's the coolest thing to mix with because it doesn't just stick on your spoon. Since I already started using the spoon and I'm gonna spoon those in there, I just wanted to show that to you. But I thought that was the coolest little tool when I found it. Now I've got a little cornmeal here, and as this heats up, I don't want to get this too hot. I'm going to put a tiny bit of organic sunflower in here. You could use coconut oil, you can use whatever oil you want, you can use olive oil. Put some cornmeal. You usually find cornmeal on the edges of your English muffins, right? Now I'm not sure how this is going, but we're going to do it anyway. I'm just going to pour enough so it's 3/4, kind of like you do regular muffins when you're making muffins. And we'll see how these turn out. Now, just like pancakes, you are going to see bubbles on top. And you don't want to rush it because obviously you want them to cook through. Now, I also have some, I'll talk about my cheese while these are cooking. I also have some grated Havarti now. I love Havarti in it, and it melts really, really well. So this is dill Havarti. You could use any kind of cheese you want, really. Melty cheese if you want it melty on your egg muffin. And I just shred it a little bit so it would melt really fast. You can use it in a thin slice as well. Turn this down a bit. We don't want it cooking too fast. So I'm getting some bubbles around the edges. Just a few bubbles around the edges. And it's not spilling over, so that's good because it is going to rise just a little bit when I turn it over, or at least I should. It should. Now, when you turn these over, some of it might spill out. That's okay. If you have it just right, though, when it's cooking, and I think I'm going to show one to see if it works, like if it'll work, like I'm saying. If I put just a bead around the outside there, it'll cook and make an edge so it won't spill over. I'll do this to 2 and see what happens. And then on the others, I just put a little bit over the top so that when I turn it, it's not going to stick. And I'll put, once it kind of looks like I'm ready to turn them over, I'll put a little bit more cornmeal on the top. Sometimes the cornmeal makes it a little crunchier on the outside, but it helps hold its shape. So that's really kind of optional, but it makes you feel like you're making real English muffins. So it's rising. You can see them coming up to the top. There's more bubbles starting on the inside, so they're starting to cook on the inside a little bit more. And again, if you join the sourdough challenge, you can make real digestible baked goods. So they're going to the top. I've got some bubbles in there on top. And it'll be interesting to see where I put the little bit of oil on there. So I'm putting some cornmeal on there. And again, the English muffins can be made ahead. Make a big batch, cook them, and put them in the freezer individually. I just wrap them individually in plastic wrap and then put them in a Ziploc bag. So let's see what happens. You can almost see it's sliding off there, so that's good. And sometimes it'll come right out of the ring really fast. There you go. Those are probably a little darker than I would want, but these are doing great. And there you go. That one fell out just a little bit, but that's okay. You can either take it off or just eat it as is. And sometimes they'll like, yeah, that'll come right off. So that's cool. So those might even come right off for you before you even need it to. So I'm just going to do that so I can show you how they do stay together. But these are going to come right off, so that's cool. I did a little bit of coconut oil around the rings before we came out. But there's some muffins. They're getting nice and puffy. You don't have to take the rings off. I just did that to show you how they're doing. And they're feeling pretty firm. So I'm pretty sure that if I cut them in half, they'll be done in the middle. If not, put them in the toaster, toast them up, and that's okay. In fact, if you're going to freeze them, a little bit underdone is great because you can cut them, put them in the toaster and they won't be overdone and over dry. So there's the English muffins, and now we'll do the eggs and put them all together. Hey there, so we're back with making our egg muffins. And I'm gonna put just a little bit of butter in the pan. And now if you wanted to be fancy, you could use the rings again just to make them kind of, make them fit your English muffins. I'm just gonna crack one in. Now lately, I've been cracking eggs a long time. And it seems like the last few years, the shells are different. So if you need to crack it in a little dish before you put it in the pan, that's great. This gives you a chance to kind of stir it up just a little bit. I'll do it without that. So I'm just going to move the sides around. You don't have to have it like so far mixed that it's like a scrambled egg. I'll show you how I do it when I don't use one of those. Works out pretty well. Now I used to do, when we did breakfast at the lodge, I used to have somebody come and stay here who loved my scrambled eggs, because what I would do was just scramble the whites and get those all cooked. And then I would just kind of crack the yolk and then spin it around in it. It's really good that way. You should try it. So listen, but I'll spin this all together here. And it'll just go together to fit in your muffin. Just keep folding it over, turning it over, whatever it needs to be cooked. It'll be fine. And again, you can turn it over if you want. I'm gonna put in one more while I've got the room there. And we'll just hope the shells don't get in there. And just twizzle it around a little bit. Again, no fuss. Cook simple, cook well. Just the ingredients you like. Now, I don't have salt out here, but I could put a little salt and pepper on these if you wanted to, or after they're done, that's okay too. And then we can turn those over. Just make sure they're cooked inside. They're gonna be inside an English muffin anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna take that off. Now we've cut our English muffins, and one wasn't quite too done in the middle. Again, if you want to finish these off in the oven, go ahead and do that. If you've gotten them a little too, I think some of these were, you know, those were good. Some of them were a little darker on the outside than I would want. You can finish them off in the oven as well. So you can do that, or you can cut them, put them in the toaster if you like them crispy on the inside as well. We're just going to go ahead and put one of these. Now these are from my family, so I'm using my fingers. They might be a little thicker than I'd want for egg muffins, but everybody's hungry, so I'll probably only get one of them in them. And before I do that, I am just going to put I'll take it off there, the shredded cheese, because I'm hoping that the heat of the egg is going to melt those by the time somebody eats it. So a nice thick English muffin. You can make your patties thinner if you want to, take the meat off if you want to, and just do egg and cheese. We can do that too if someone didn't want pork. And this isn't perfect, but it's totally fine. We're gonna put that in there, put a little cheese on it, and there you go. So I've got one with, one without. Now I was told I had to have a cross section, so here we go. Yummy, quick, easy, fresh. And there you have your own egg muffin. You could even freeze these all together if you wanted to and pull them out. And don't put them in the microwave, just the toaster oven, or let them thaw a little bit and then the toaster oven. Try not to use your microwave. I know it's cooking easy, but it really changes the molecule of the food. So fresh, quick, easy, freeze and make in batch, put in the freezer all together or not. So stay nourished, everybody, and get inspired to cook good food.